So I'm doing a different angle because every time I do a YouTube video, my closet's always in the background. I don't know why that always happens. It's really weird. I probably should have did something with my hair before I started my video. I've been trying to do my videos with my hair down because I'm looking back on previous videos to see if my hair's grown at all. Like I said, I have a hair problem right now since I got COVID back in December. And I'm trying to see lengthwise how far my hair has come. So I don't really see a difference. Me, myself, I don't in length. Like my hair's not really grown. But the weird part is that it's grown down here at the base of my neck, but the sides, not that much. So I'm basically trying to see if there's been any improvement because I'm supposed to be getting my hair done next month. So really excited to do that video. I'm like super excited. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, everything works out because I'm really excited. I wanted to make a video talking about relationships. I was going to do a lotion tanner video, but I realized I already did it. But I wanted to talk about relationships because I have been in relationships. I have been married twice. This is my second marriage. I've had, past relationships with boyfriends, things like that. And I wanted to talk about boundaries in relationships, married or not. Even if you're in a serious long-term relationship, you've been together for 10, 15 years, but you're not married, things like that. Or if you are married, which is kind of a tricky subject to come up with because a lot of people, when it comes to marriage, a lot of people, have different views and different opinions. And I just realized my glasses are in the house again and they're supposed to be in my truck. When I was younger in my first marriage / my first marriage and my first relationship, kind of, I was really bad with boundaries. I didn't understand personal space. I was the type that was all up in your grill, as well as I was very controlling. If I could go on and on and on about controlling, I could, but we're just gonna say controlling. I was very intrusive. I was also very, I just had a lack of respect for my ex. It was very one-sided. I didn't really let him have his space, and I really didn't let him be himself, and I really didn't let him have boundaries. I didn't have any of that. Even, which I'll get to later, I'll talk about later. But in the long run, because of this, and now this went on throughout my whole entire relationship, my whole entire marriage, it just kind of continued. It didn't really change on my end. It was horrible. And in the long run, obviously that marriage didn't last. When I was single and I was by myself finally, my hair is horrible right now. I'm going to put it back just 1 second. I can't deal with this. It looks so bad right now. It's like doing its own thing. I don't have a bra on, so we're just not going to do that. I'm just going to pull it back. That'll probably be my still, me going like that or something. They do it all. That'll probably be my still right there. I'm just gonna. There we go. That looks right. So after I was single and I was divorced, I had, nobody in my life. When you go through a divorce or you're single or whatever, you really don't have anything else to do but learn about yourself. You have to learn about, and you got to think about what you did in your past relationship, because if you plan on getting in another relationship, you don't want to carry those bad habits with you to the next one. So I had to learn my own space. I had to learn what I liked. I had to learn about myself. So when I got into my next relationship, I totally blew it. Totally blew it. It was like, it didn't last. It lasted for, oh man, I want to say it was like less than a month. It was horrible. I feel so bad for the poor guy. I traumatized this guy. I scared him away. Bottom line, there's no way of going around it. And to this day, I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him anymore, and he doesn't talk to me. It was just a very sad thing. And it was sad because we had a lot in common, and we basically married each other, and it was just, I take full responsibility and I take the full blame for that. It was my fault, and it was really sad, and it was really like pathetic on me because I was actually older than him. But again, boundaries, personal space, trust issues, I blew it up. So now I'm single again. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong in my relationships that these guys just keep like, peacing out? I'm still not getting this. So finally I get into another relationship, and I'm with this guy, and, I'm just like, whatever. Well, now I'm doing it again. I start getting too serious with this relationship, and I start getting, I was too invading. I wasn't, and I was very impatient. I was very impatient in the relationship. I was all like, again, up in the face, and it was very embarrassing. It was really pathetic. So what happened? That relationship didn't last. So now I'm single again, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm heartbroken. At this point, I finally got to a point I didn't want to be with anybody. I was just kind of like, I'm done. I'm over this. I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. I'm too old for this crap. I'm like, I'm done. Well, I ended up getting into another relationship, which is now my current husband. And as we gone, we started, I really, really hesitated to be in this relationship. I didn't want to be in it. I didn't want to be with anybody because of my previous relationships that I had been in. I was done. But I didn't realize that I had finally figured out what boundaries and personal space was. I started, that's something weird. I started, I went into the relationship and I was dating him, and I started to see my own faults through him. My husband, I'm not, this isn't a shit talking video. This isn't like, oh, my husband's a piece of crap. No, I'm not talking about that. My husband has had traumatic things happen to him in his past relationships, and he's had a lot of bad things happen to him, and it's through no fault of his own. So when I started to see, it was within the first couple of months of our relationship, it was, very obvious that he had major trust issues because we started having boundary issues. He was, always texting me, or he was going through my text messages, or he was always following me around, or, he was, wondering what I'm doing, etc., etc. And as the relationship started to deepen, I started to feel, and I finally realized what I had done wrong, because now I was in this relationship, and this, he was doing it, and I started to put the puzzle pieces together that this is what I was doing, and this is what suffocates a relationship. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, why did you get married to, whatever. I started telling him, I started being honest with him, because unlike the other people that left me, I'm not the type of person to just leave somebody because they don't get it. I was honest. I'm very honest. I will tell you anything. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. And I told him, and luckily with my husband, which was my boyfriend then at that time, he was very open to listening to me, and he was very understanding, and he was very, he understood what he was doing, and he got it. So that's why I married him, and, things changed. But anyways, when it comes to relationships and when it comes to marriage, there is not a strong enough idea or word when it comes to personal space and boundaries. Just because you're in a serious relationship with somebody, and just because you're married, doesn't mean that you don't have to have your own space. Yes, you are with that person, and you're in love, and things are great, and you're building this world together, but that doesn't mean that you both don't have your own little worlds that you have. Like me, I'm going on 35 years old. I'll be 35 on April 9th. And in my 35 years, I have learned I'm a kind of a I'm not a recluse, but I'm not an extrovert. Extrovert. Am I saying that right? Introvert? I don't know. I'm an introvert. I like to have my own space. I like things to be done a certain way, and I like to be alone. Sometimes, not all the time, but I like to be alone sometimes. And when I like to be alone, most of the time I like to watch, YouTube videos, or I like to go to the store, or, I like to go for walks, things like that. And I just want to have my space. There's just times when I'll just, I go to my room and I'll just sit here and, I need to decompress and I'll watch like cheesy movies or action movies that I like and things like that. And this is something that I have to do because it's my thing. That's what I do. And it's my space. Did it take a while for my husband to understand this? Yes, it does. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, it can take a while for your significant other to respect that and to understand that you're not ignoring them, that you're not, and it isn't, and you're not ignoring them. You're not ignoring that person. You're not blocking out the relationship. It's not that. We all need to have our own thing, our own, whatever it is, whether it's, online gaming, or it's, watching movies, or, going to the bookstore, or having a cup of coffee, whatever. Everybody has their own thing that they have that's just theirs, and it's their own area. It's a part of their personality. That's just who they are, and it makes them happy, and that's fine. That is okay. That doesn't mean you love that person less. It doesn't mean that you don't care about them. It doesn't mean that you don't care about what's going on in your life. I just realized I got wibbly wobblies. It doesn't mean that you don't care about nothing. That's not what it was. And this is what I did back then. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand back then that my ex-husband wasn't doing it because he didn't care about me. He wasn't doing it because he didn't love me. He wasn't doing it because he didn't care about our lives. It wasn't that at all. He just liked to have his own personal space, and he liked to have his own, it was his thing. That's what he did. And, it was him. It was a part of his personality, and it's what made him happy. But it didn't mean that I didn't make him happy and that I wasn't a part of his life. It just meant that it was something that he did. And now that I'm going on 35, I finally understand it because I do it. And it's something that I do to make me happy. I do my own thing. And, now I'm not saying, this is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, what is happening right now? I'm trying to make a video. I'm yawning. My eyes are drying out. I'm not saying lock yourself in a room all day and sit on a computer and ignore everybody. That is not what I'm saying. That is not, that's a personal issue. That's an addiction. If you're sitting on a computer or a video game set from sun up until sundown and you're ignoring your family, you're ignoring your significant other, and you're just locked yourself in a room, that is a problem. That is something that needs to be talked about with a counselor, or that's something that you obviously have an addiction, and it's something that needs to be addressed. That's not what I'm saying. Or you're taking off and you're leaving your kids and your family for days on end, and you're out drinking and doing drugs and things like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to say is that throughout the day, you're with your family, whatever you're doing, whatever with your family. And this is, I'm speaking to introverts and people that are, I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for. People that are, they get sensory overload. There's things, it's like, it's too much. You're with your family all day, or you're at work all day, or whatever. That if taking that time out of each day, whether it be an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, to just, play video games, or watch a movie, or read a book, or go get a cup of coffee, or go for a walk, things like that. That is something that is normal. That is something that it's a boundary. It's something where you're like, okay, my brain just needs a break. I need a break. That's fine. That does not mean that your significant other does not love you. That does not mean that they don't care about you. He or she doesn't care about you. That they, they're just blocking me out. No, it's not like that at all. They need their space. And so do you. You need your space. You need to have your own thing. You need to have time to decompress your brain and, do whatever it is that you have to do. And I have to say, that's probably one of the things in relationships that cause them to break apart, because somebody ends up getting either mad, jealous, or there's an assumption of you don't care about me kind of thing. and it's usually not the way it is. There can be a lack of communication when a relationship, when, you know, if you're not explaining this to your significant other, that like, listen, I love you. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not trying to block you out. This is not the way it is. You know, I just need that 30 minutes to an hour. I need to have this to myself just for an hour, you know, or whatever. But I still care about you. I still love our family or whatever, you or whatever. It's not like that. And, you know, that's something that you can do too, to stop that argument, that unnecessary argument, or to have just this big old blown out of proportion assumption thing that never existed. Now, I will say this. If you're in that kind of relationship where your significant other is, and I'm talking because I did it in the past, you've had the conversation, you've talked to them, you're like, hey, you know, it's not like that, you know, I love you, I'm just doing this because I just want to have, you know, some time to myself. It's been a rough day. Can I just have an hour to myself? And they're not respecting that. And they're like, no, you know, you need to be with me. You're in a relationship with me. I'm the one that's supposed to make you happy. Like, you don't, no. I've done that. It's wrong, because that's not what they're saying. They're not saying you don't make them happy. It's saying that my brain is fried, okay? I don't want to talk. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to hang around you. I don't want to, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care about you. I just need silence, however that silence is. I need just to box my brain in for a minute. I need to go to my quiet spot. Let me have a break. That's it. If they can't respect that and it becomes volatile, angry, flipping out, starting a fight, walking out, blowing it out of proportion, that's not on you. That's not you. That's them. They have attachment issues, and they have needs that they cannot fill for themselves, that they expect you to fill. Something maybe in a past relationship happened to them that, you know, it led to them thinking, you know, cheating or something like that, or there's issues with them that they're not dealing with. In my relationship with my husband right now, back when we were dating, one of the reasons why he had so many issues was because he did have past relationship problems with his ex-wife, and he had a lot of, you know, things that he wasn't dealing with on his own. And I see it a lot. I see it in relationships happening all the time, that everybody has to have their, you're together, but you're separate, if you know what I mean. You're together, but you're still two separate people. You're not every second of every day do you have to be together. You don't have to be, because then it starts to turn in kind of like a trust issue. That means that you don't trust them. And what is causing you to feel that way? Why don't you trust your partner? Why don't you trust them to go out and have a drink or a cup of coffee or read a book or go for a walk or whatever it is that they like to do? Why don't you trust them enough to go do that and then come back? That's something that's within you that needs to be fixed automatically, because that means that there is something that happened in your past, or something that is psychologically, whether it's abandonment issues or past relationship issues or PTSD or something like that, that's making you attack that person. You know, please don't leave me. And I see girls doing it all the time. Girls will chase a guy down the street. They'll run after him. They'll be like, oh my God, you're leaving me. And I'm speaking for myself because I've done it. Boundaries. It's a big deal in relationships. It really is. And it's not really talked about. People don't really, you know, like to go there too much, because they think, well, that's not how a relationship is. It is how a relationship is. And if you want your relationship to survive for 50, 60, 70 years, you know, my grandparents are a great example of it, because they're together, but they have their own thing. My grandma works, she has her own job. You know, she's going on 80 years old. And all of her life, she's had her own job. She's had her own money. She does her own thing. My grandpa, he does his own thing. He had his own job. He's retired now, but you know, et cetera, et cetera. But yet they always came together at the end of the day, and they were always together. They go out to dinner together. You know, they do their thing together. But yet they have their own lives. They don't sit there and they're not up each other's butts every 2 seconds. And they trust each other. Now, did it take time? Probably. Chances are it did. It probably did take time and years and years and years and years of learning each other and, you know, going over things and having things happen and, you know, with kids and things like that. Yeah, it does take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But just keep trying to remind yourself of that. If you are like me and you're in that situation where you're just clinging onto that person, take a step back, take a deep breath, and think, why do I feel like this right now? Why am I acting like this? What is the big deal? But why? And try to really think about either past relationships or something from your childhood that's triggering you to make you run after that person and attach yourself and not give that person personal space. Why are they not allowed to have personal space? Why do you have to be like right there? It starts with you. There's something wrong. It's not them. It's you. So, and I'm not saying this to hurt people. I'm like, it's you. I'm not saying that. I've done it. So anyways, I just wanted to make this video in case there's anybody out there that's in a relationship or they're just getting married or whatever, and somebody comes across this video and they're like, am I doing that in my relationship? It's a big deal. It really is. So, and I'm talking from experience because I did it. I've been married twice. And like I said, I've had multiple relationships. So I'm going to go. My son's downstairs freaking out. So I will hopefully speak to y'all again soon.